Birch is widespread across Europe and in Western Asia, and at the northern end of its range it forms stable climax forests. But with us it is a primary coloniser in natural or human-induced secondary habitats. Here in the Midlands, its main habitat in fact is cutaway or cut-over bogs, just like this. Both male and female catkins are produced on the same tree, but the female catkins mature 2 to 3 days before the male catkins, and they are receptive for only 4 days. Now what that means is that the female catkins will almost certainly be cross-fertilised, because the only pollen available to them for most of that time has to come from other trees. So these little green columns are the female catkins, and these dangly lamb's tail-like structures are the male catkins. Each of these scales in the female catkins encloses 3 flowers, each flower just a single carpel, topped with 2 reddish thread-like stigmas like little tongues. The male catkin consists of an overlapping series of fringed, scallop-shaped scales, green at the back and chestnut at the front. Each of these scales also encloses 3 flowers, each with 2 stamens, with anthers that are divided down the middle. The abundant pollen is, unfortunately, one of the main causes of hay fever. The ripe fruitlets are ready to take to the air in July and August. Each has 2 wings, so placed as to cause it to flutter as though flying, so that the tree can look as if a great swarm of tiny flies is descending from the canopy when they are shed in July and August. Birch seeds are part of the diet of several bird species. Redpole and siskin have bills that are specially adapted to feed on the catkins, which also feature in the diet of several other species such as blue tit and great tit. Over 20 species of birds breed in these cut-over birchwoods. Those you are most likely to see, or more likely hear, include such summer visitors as chiffchaff and willow warbler, blackcap and cuckoo, along with all-year resident goldcrest, wren, chaffinch, thrush, robin, blackbird, several tit species and many more. One reason these cut-over bog birchwoods are good for birds is that birch has higher biodiversity support value than almost any other tree, except oak and willow. Some 250 insect species have been recorded on birch in Ireland, as well as nearly 200 lichens and over 50 bryophyte species, along with many species of mycorrhizal fungi. Insects that feed on birch include the small tortoiseshell butterfly and many moths, among them the buff-tip, pebble hook-tip and angle shades. Several mite species are also associated with the tree, some of which are responsible for the distinctive witches' brooms on the tree. Birch extends further north than any other tree, and it is as deeply embedded in the cultures of Scandinavia and Siberia as it is in their landscapes, and it had the most extraordinarily wide range of uses. The bark of birch has the unusual property of remaining sound when the rest of the timber rot away, and that was used for all sorts of things, making boats, like canoes, the roofs of houses, baskets. The timber is softer, and that was used, for example, for making light furniture, broom handles, things like that. And this is my very own kuksa. The kuksa is the traditional Sami drinking cup made from birch. Everyone had their own individually crafted kuksa, which, if properly looked after, was expected to last your entire lifetime. It should only be rinsed with clean water, without detergent, and dried after each use. My kuksa was made in northern Finland. And if I had the opportunity, the drink I would like to sample with my cooksa is birch sap, because birch sap tastes like water, but the clearest water you have ever tasted, and it's very high in sugar. So it was used to make wine, but not just any old wine, because according to John Evelyn, the great 17th century writer on trees, it was a wine so strong that the common sort of stone bottle cannot preserve the spirits. So subtle are they and volatile. And yet it is gentle and very harmless in operation within the body, and exceedingly sharpens the appetite, being drunk ante pastum. As well as being what he called a most brisk and spirituous drink, Evelyn also claimed that it would do wonders for those suffering from the dreaded disease of phthisis, as it was called in his 17th century day, but which we know today as tuberculosis.